The next wave of innovation is not coming from one company alone. And Intel and Ericsson has had a number of years of very close collaboration to drive the RAN forward. And now we're seeing how we are continuously evolving the open programmable AI native RAN. So here I'm joined with Kevork to really look ahead into the future. So let's start right there. With all the AI workloads coming into play, what are some of the impacts that you would see from your perspective? And again, you have an interesting role there looking after infrastructure, data centers, your AI strategy. So what are some of the shifts that you see an impact on the network?
Yeah, well, thank you for this opportunity. So we're seeing actually multiple areas where major shifts are happening. First of all, from an AI perspective, we're past the areas, the heavy accelerators, things becoming leaner, I would say. Inference is forefront on everything we do, agents. So that's a major shift on what type of framework we need and things could run on. We are working on defining the continuity there. I mean, not just the processing engine, but the fabric, the memory hierarchies, and how we deal with these complex workloads. So make the experience much more pleasant for our partners and our customers.
And also the distribution of the compute platform as well for the different workloads.
That's right. So what we're seeing is really a new kind of renewed way of scaling from R&D perspective. Core of my business is really the enterprise, the hyperscalers, the CSPs. And what we do there, it's really a much heavier version of what we can deploy on the RAN, on the vRAN, on the core, on the edge. So that's why it makes sense for us to be part of one organization that's driving all that innovation. And time to market is very important for us also, and to you as well.
And as we think about the time to market with the ecosystem, an important role of the developers coming into play, making the network programmable and open. What do you see needs to be in place for that to really happen and for the RAN and the network to become programmable?
The first step we're taking is making it developer friendly. That's the most important thing, because you can have the best solution, but if it's very hard to figure it out, it's not going to go anywhere. So we're working on the software layers with our partners to make sure that that aspect is clearly addressed. But also what we're seeing is, as the standards are evolving, we mentioned what's shifting in the AI world, but also we're seeing this renewed interest on being open, the open standards, different partnerships coming in. Plus, I mean, again, going back to AI, the models are becoming much smaller because it's not very heavy expert task that we're trying to do. So all of that is coming together to make the experience better. And of course, with Intel and Ericsson, we go back decades and we have a familiarity. We know how the teams work well together. And that's what we're trying to harvest. And of course, other partners coming in as well.
So why now in that sense, after the many decades of close collaboration, or would you say that, could you exemplify by one near-time example on why now for the Open RAN and continuing to build networks in that new way?
This industry, and lots of whether it's semiconductor software or even the telco industry, has been around for a long time. And our collective experience is that anything open can move faster. We need to make sure that we hit on the open aspect of it, right? Because everyone can play on the strength of each other instead of trying a closed system or a vertical where things, you're at the weakest denominator versus playing on each other's strength. But also there's a huge demand. I mean, things are evolving very quick. So we need to move, both of us, but also product lines, we need to move very fast, right? To adapt and adjust.
As our collaboration continues and evolves into the next generation with AI native 6G, what are some of the things that you see important there?
We're seeing, I mean, obviously the shift from 5G to 6G, and these standards, as you know more than anyone probably, take a long time to evolve. But now what we're seeing is with 6G, like we're immersed in this AI environment, AI reality, what's possible, what best looks like. And we're trying to build all of that goodness into the compute platforms, distribution platforms, the RAN, the network, the fabric of the network itself. And that's why, like, from a planning perspective, it becomes much more kind of organized chaos, if you would like, where we're looking at what's possible from the compute platforms that we have.
So that's also the move from the AI ready to the AI native.
That's correct. And then there's two major vectors there. One of them is for the operators, how we can make the whole much more manageable, much more efficient. We talked about power efficiency to harvest all of that, the spectral efficiency, all of it. because it's built in, but also the experience from the end user where services would run there almost in a native mode. And it goes from the standard all the way to the hardware that we're building together.
It was a wonderful conversation to talk about not only the many years of collaboration we had, but also how we're continuously evolving for innovation of the future with really that openness and close collaboration to bring us into the next step of AI native and into 6G as well.